Well, hello there. I hope that whatever you are reading, you are having fun. But allow me just ask you a question. How do you handle injustice? Well, the thing that most people will do in the face of injustice and in the face of abuse will be to retort. It will be to resist. And we will really give so many reasons why we shouldn't be the people to bear such kind of injustice or to have to face such kind of criticism. Well, in the light of all that, I think Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte is one of those sublime pieces of classical literature that I finally got myself around to start reading. It chronicles the life of Jane Eyre, who is an orphan and living with her stepmother. When she's finally sent to school, she meets with this young lady. It is this young lady's view and perspective of life that is really challenging and that is so unlike a child her age. Allow me take you through one of the conversation that ensues between Jane Eyre and Helen Burns after Helen Burns is flogged by her teacher for not cleaning her nails. But when you read the book, you will realize that it is not actually because she never cleaned her nails, but because she was able to answer every single question that the teacher asked her with so much clarity. It is far better to endure patiently a smart, which nobody feels but yourself, than to commit a hasty action whose evil consequences will extend to all connected with you. This is the explanation that Helen Burns gives to Jane Eyre when Jane Eyre questions her silence when she's struck by a teacher, when she's flogged by the teacher. Just for the sake of some context, this is a classroom session, and Jane Eyre explains how the classroom session was like. She says, a chapter having been read through twice, the books were closed and the girls examined. The lesson had comprised part of the reign of Charles I, and there were sundry questions about tonnage and poundage and ship money, which most of them appeared unable to answer. Still, every little difficulty was solved instantly when it reached Burns. Her memory seemed to have retained the substance of the whole lesson, and she was ready with answers on every point. I kept expecting that Miss Scatcherd will praise her attention, but instead of that, she suddenly cried out, "You dirty, disagreeable girl! You have never cleaned your nails this morning." Burns made no answer. I wondered at her silence. Why, thought I, does she not explain she could neither clean her nails nor wash her face as the water was frozen? So this is the scenario in the classroom where Burns is actually able to answer every single question. The teacher gets angry and focuses on her uncleanliness, the fact that she had not cleaned her nails, neither had she washed her face. And she questions Ban. But Ban is unable to explain. She keeps silent and does not explain that there was no water to wash her face and clean her nails. When you continue reading, you will find that Barnes is sent to get a cane and the teacher flogs her. When Jane Eyre finds her sitting alone, Jane Eyre questions her for her silence. She questions her for her endurance. And she asks, but that teacher right here, but that teacher, Miss Scatcherd, is so cruel to you. Cruel? Not at all. She is severe. She dislikes my faults. And if I were in your place, I should dislike her. I should resist her. If she struck me with that rod, I should get it from her hand. I should break it under her nose. Probably you will do nothing of the sort, but if you did, Mr. Brooklehurst will expel you from the school. That will be a great grief to your relations. And then she says, it is far better to endure patiently a smart, which nobody feels but yourself, than to commit a hasty action whose evil consequences will extend to all connected with you. So most of the time, the whole idea that Barnes gives for her silence is that this is something that she can endure. This is a pain that she can endure herself without getting anyone else involved. So she says that if we can endure a smart, which nobody else would, then it is laid upon us to actually endure it. But then when Jane Eyre goes on to claim that it is not right that the teacher punished her in front of all her other classmates, and she says that herself she will not actually bear it, This is what Helen Barnes says, that it will be your duty to bear it if you could not avoid it. She says that it is weak, that it is silly to say you cannot bear what is your fate to be required to bear. So this is the whole perspective that surrounds Barnes' silence, that surrounds Barnes' endurance of what is clearly an injustice. She says that that is her lot, that is what she's required to bear, and she's willing to bear it responsibly. She's willing to bear it without getting any other person involved. And then we see that Jane Eyre actually thinks about it, and she says that I could not comprehend this doctrine of endurance, and still less could I understand or sympathize with the forbearance she expressed for a chastiser. Still, I felt that Helen Barnes considered things by a light invisible to my eyes. I suspected she might be right and I wrong, but I will not ponder on the matter deeply. So Jenny is quite surprised. Is quite surprised by the light with which Helen Barnes regards adversity and regards endurance. And I think this is something that we all need to think about. This is something that we all need to consider. How do we handle injustice? How do we handle criticism? How do we handle adversity? Do we retort? Do we resist? Or do we bear it graciously? Because if we can bear it graciously and not get other people involved and not get other people entangled in our mess, then that is what we should do.